Well, hello guys. Um, I think you can hear me. I will start to talk about the current market situation. As usual, I will show you the current or today's topics, and that's the agenda that I'm going to use every time when I'm streaming, just in case that you guys have another topics that I should talk about, then just tell me. I mean, every time when I'm announcing the stream, you can um, just let a comment right there, and if you have some wishes. I know I have some to-dos, like I will show you some indicators. If we have some time today, because I'm not going to make a 2-hour stream today because it's good weather outside. But I think we will make an hour as minimum. And if we have some more time, I will start to talk about some indicators and how I'm working. I mean, I cannot give you every information because some of the information is just experience. So many times when I'm talking about the psycho effect or impact behind that, that's really experience. That's something that, of course, you don't know how old I am. I'm not 20, but I'm not 60 either. So um, I'm bringing some experience, market experience, and some deep insight because of my job, and a combination with all indicators and makes and gives you a complete picture of what's happening. So let us take a look first what's going to happen today. Today's topics is the current market situation and your questions. I got, actually I got one question on Twitter, and I got a second one. Thanks, bruh. Crypto guy in Trinidad. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Um, so actually, that was your question about when those future liquidations will happen. If that's in a particular day or every day in a month, I will talk about that, and I will give you a website where you can track exactly on which days those kind of liquidations will happen, and I will talk a little bit more about those liquidations. At the same time, I got a different question. Let me check. Unfortunately, not as comment. Oh yeah, Munir from my Twitter account just asked me because I retweeted a whale alert where it was announcing that 75,000 BNB is going to transfer to from an unknown wallet to Binance, and he was asking actually what does that mean. So I will explain how this process works and why it should be clear for you when you get some announcements from whale alert. What does that mean? The announcement alone, isolated, it doesn't say anything, or not really much. But combined with other moves, predictions, and so on and so forth, that can also give you some signs and evidences, or actually confirmations that what you have in mind is correct or not. So let us go directly to our market situation. Yeah, perfect. So at the moment we have Bitcoin at 36K, and I will display now everything there so you can show what's happening. So what's the deal? I'm still being a big fan of Wyckoff's redistribution schematic, because at the moment it's absolutely very accurate, and that's wondering me a little bit because I wasn't really expecting that. But sometimes I think Bitcoin is like a matrix. Somebody is sitting in a control room and just deciding, good evening, Red Viper, and just deciding, let us go now $500 down, and afterwards let us bounce there and go up again because it's too accurate, and that's something where I'm wondering a little bit. So many people started, for example, just to give you how accurate that is, started to interpret these three peaks. I will show you that here on Wyckoff's schematic, why they think that's actually it's not, they don't have a different understanding, but they think that we did the 40K retest. And actually they think that's the 40K retest. I mean, maybe they're right and I'm wrong, but I don't think so. So, perfect. And that's where I say it's too accurate, and that's why I'm wondering a little bit. So hopefully you can see that. Unfortunately, maybe that way. We have here, when we will retest, three peaks. And they interpret those here are the three peaks. But the thing is, the UT has one peak, but you have here at the bottom, you have an up with a little correction, with a fall back, and the same on the other side. And that's exactly what happened here. That's also part of the volume profile that we have here. Okay, it's low. We have something like a dump right here. And that's why I'm so convinced that we are on track and we will retest. Because after we bounced here, and we did that here, that was just May 29th, we go up and we started something like a sideways run. Today in my, well, it wasn't a market analysis, it was much more a little market review. I predicted what will happen. I said it will go down to 35K. It was 35.5 at the end. Then it will bounce there. It will go up again to 37. Then it will just go few hundreds down to bounce again and to go up again. And that's what happened. But actually, and that's what makes me a little bit wondering, is that's what it's showing here. That's exactly what it's showing here. And that's really curious to see that in a live chart. And that's happening right now. I mean, we went up to 36.5. That's actually this here. Then we went down a little bit to 36.2. Okay. At the same time, we created here a bottom of something like, I would say that's a triangle. And we failed here um, to get or to bounce here again. I mean, it's not done. It could happen, but it's not going to happen. And I say, I tell you why it's not going to happen, because that's actually what Wyckoff has also in his schematic. If you see, I mean, he is using here, it seems, the 1-day view. We are using here 2 hours view. But if we would start to use the 1-day view, we have here a big candle, we have here a big candle, and another big candle is coming. And this big candle means, and it's going to grow in volume, because we will get more resistance. It doesn't mean that we will pump up like hell. If you take a look to his Wyckoff schematic, you see that's a huge trading volume with a really low candle, because that's where they test the resistance. And when we start to pump up is when we are having a decreasing volume. That's very interesting. That's one part. But on the other part, as said, that's too accurate. But it works. So I'm not expecting that we are going to fall here again. That's what I think. I think we will bounce here. And I mean, we created here a really good base to bounce now, to go up and retest the 40K. A lot of traders are using the triangle right now and say, well, people like Carl is saying, that's for me a sign we will bounce here and go up and we will initiate the new rally. Some others say, no, we will go up here to 38, 37.5 maybe, or a little bit, yeah, 38 actually, and then dump down, crossing our support at 33.5. Absolutely possible. But then we are failing the Wyckoff schematic, and at the moment we are working in such accurate way that I'm thinking and still thinking that we will bounce here and start to create an uptrend. At the moment we have a confirmed downtrend. Okay, and our RSI is in a very good situation to start to pump. I tell you why. Wyckoff was a genius, and genius for me, because he understands perfectly the psychology behind the market actors when the price go up, when, for example, the trading volume is increasing, and why it should increase. So the RSI is in a situation, if we start to pump here, we will be very close to be overbought here. What does that mean for every person that is actually still bullish? He will say, okay, we are starting and initiating the new rally. They will start to hype that, like people like Carl. I'm just taking Carl because I'm following him. I don't know, maybe some other guys do the same, and he is very popular. So that's the only reason, actually. And that's where he said, that's the test. That's a rally that's going to fail. And it makes sense. And I believe it's going to happen. We will cross actually the top of this triangle, go up, and retest the 40Ks. Before then, we dump hard. We will start a little downtrend. We will make like a stair, start to decline. But at the end, and that's where I say it's going to be very informative for us, we have to check the candles of the dump. If you see we are getting a long candle, that means we are finishing our dump. So if it's starting to get less dynamic, okay, dynamic means short candles, more moves. Long candles, less dynamic, less pace. That means they are actually ending this move, this trend. And that's something we need to take care about, because I think we will start here very dynamic. We will have some people, they will try to absorb all these selling um, bitcoins, and they will resist, but they are just going to delay it, not to prevent it, as I always say. So I'm sure we will go down. We will have here a long candle. So we know, okay, we are not done actually then. We will bounce here. We will make the last secondary test here. And that's a secondary test just on our old support before we bounce there. And that's actually something that happens all the time before. In the last 2-3 weeks when we started to dump, it was actually always the same pattern. So if you are following me on Twitter, you should remember that I always said the same. I said, that's always the same pattern. We are coming, we are creating, in that way that was much more a rising wedge. We are actually dumping then, bounce below the bottom of the rising wedge, maintain that level there, pump a little bit, bounce there, and then we dump really hard. And I think that's going to happen again. The question then is, what is going to be our bottom? And the media and some experts, I was reading a little bit what they expect and why. I mean, the chart is giving us almost 20,000. It's 19,500. I show you, if we change to 1 week view, we can see that we had in 2017 here the all-time high at this time. And we had actually here an effect of exactly this all-time high there. So we can be sure that we have here a support mark. We have a support line right there. So for me, I don't see any. Of course, 24 could be a support as well, but this one is the strongest one. So if we are dumping hard and they want a very attractive entry price, even if a JP Morgan analyst is talking about a fair entry price for Bitcoin is between 24 and 35K, they are not going to tell you the truth. Okay? They are not going to tell you what's going to be their entry price. But the thing is, this 20 or 19.5 looks very realistic for me. I don't think actually that this is going to be the bottom of our dump. I will show you that. So what would happen then? We will have here, and that's something that I already said, we will start to create actually more volume. It's actually declining from May 23rd when we had this big dump here as well. And if you take a look here, it's making a little bit a wave, but this wave is going to increase soon and will increase much more when we start to dump. So, in my opinion, we will dump, and then the question is, because Wyckoff, for example, showing the redistribution phase, he's always showing that a redistribution phase sometimes happens twice. We have the first part, then we dump to the second one, so everything that happens in the last days would happen again. That's like actually, yeah, copy paste. we will, I mean, that's nice as well because now we know actually also the range between bottom and peak, and then we can start to buy and sell or to place longs and shorts. At the same time, we need to check the volatility all the time. But now that's the thing we need to know if that's going to be a redistribution or the accumulation. Because a difference between redistribution and accumulation, it's not big. I'll show you the accumulation. So for example, if you take a look here, you have your spring and your test and the accumulation, it's below our support line. That's not the case when you are actually in the redistribution. That's something it can change, and the volume profile is different. That's also a thing we need to have in mind. Okay? So that's going to be a challenge to recognize as soon as possible if we are in the accumulation, so the last step before we start a new rally, or the second phase or the second part of the redistribution. So for me, it's going to be just to see what's going to happen here and what's going to happen here. So I know when the dump is done, we will go up, we will go down later on, and I need to see if the bottom then after this dump will be below or actually above of the strong hands and our new support line. So that's actually my plan. This here is the accumulation. If we are going over directly to the accumulation, and that's also very possible, that could happen, then I think we will just end something by 22 or 24. That's just an illustration. It's not accurate. So don't ask me about, hey, are you sure we will, I don't know what's going to be the bottom. I think the bottom, the final bottom, and that will be, we will reach the final bottom here, could be 19.5. That's where all the whales and where actually they get the lowest entry price, where they will buy a lot and initiate their rally afterwards. We will have a reaccumulation phase, but it doesn't matter because we will start to have a bullish mood then. We will start to buy. I mean, if you miss this here, don't care. You have enough time to keep buying because everything will be a dip. Everything. But if we really reach the 19.5, imagine what will happen with, I mean, it's a good entry price for Bitcoin, and I'm really thinking, even I'm struggling with myself if I want to jump into Bitcoin because I'm not sure about everything what's happening around or surrounding Bitcoin, about energy wasting. I mean, we don't need to discuss if they are right or not, but it's there. Okay, um, so that's up to you if you want to jump in. I'm still struggling if I want to go in because 19.5 it's a good price, but if you lose this 19.5, then that's big pain. I don't think so actually. It's not really realistic to think that Bitcoin will even crash even more. But so for me that would be the sign here and here and here mostly to buy all dips I can, everything I can, because here that's going to be, I mean, every time when we go up, the people will take a breath. All these bullish guys that then recognized, okay, we are going to a bear market now, and the bear market, it doesn't say that's going to take 1 year like in the stock market. The crypto market is absolutely different to the stock market. We have maybe the same rules, but with absolutely different timelines. Okay, we are much dynamic, and so this accumulation phase can take maybe a few weeks. As I said, July, August, something like that, where we start then the new rally, and it makes sense because if we take a look to the events that is going to happen, then that fits very well. So if we start here, we will have the beginning and actually till end of June, we will be something here, and that makes sense because we have the future liquidations. Okay? I know many of you say, yeah, well, but Inspo, really, we had a March future liquidation, and we noticed this future liquidations in March as well. We had a lot of liquidations there. But of course, future liquidations, it's not something that's happening every day in the month. So we have to take care with that, and we have to check the dates before. Nevertheless, many people will try to close their contracts before they get liquidated. So it's just an orientation for us. It doesn't mean that we can really know when exactly it will have the biggest impact. But if they are still working with a Wyckoff schematic and we are in the accumulation phase, then we can predict that. Then we can say, as soon as we have a new peak there, we can say, okay, we know the next one is going to be a downwards trend, and this one is going to reach the new bottom. I mean, it's not the new bottom. We, as I said, that's something that we created 2017, but that will be the new bottom with 20K. And that's where we have to buy a lot of dips then. So to make clear, first of all, we need the 40K retest where I mean, the 40K, if we go to 40 and we maintain the 40 for few days because it's retesting. In every time when it's retesting, it's failing. That's the confirmation. So for me, absolutely clear, I will place a short one, a short future. Not big, because I'm with shorts, I'm never working with big volume, but I will use a big leverage. And yeah, use that money, um, including and adding private money, of course, and buy as much dips as I can as soon I can verify that we are in the accumulation phase. Okay, so I mean, it doesn't matter if we buy if we have the second redistribution part and I buy here some dips, it doesn't matter Because as soon as I know we are not in the accumulation phase, and that's just possible to recognize with the profile, with the volume profile. So when people start just to re-illustrate Wyckoff's schematic on the chart and say, look, 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 that's going to happen. No, you are failing, because that's what Wyckoff said. That's a psychology thing between sellers and buyers, supply and demand. Okay, that's just an illustration to show you actually how it works. And that's where I was wondering, because it's so accurate at the moment. That was wondering me a little bit. Nevertheless, that's the plan. And if we are here, you can imagine we are starting here panic sells. As soon as we reach that here, the people will think that's actually 22. Okay, every time we talked about 22, that's the new bottom. And they will be surprised here, and they will vomit here. And that's the point where I say that's where we have to buy everything here as possible. Okay? Because that's where we fill our bags, and these bags will make 300, 400% in just few days, or maybe 2 weeks. And that's just the beginning. Before we are on track again, when I mean on track, I mean the progress we were doing before we started to dump, before we left the 60K. And many altcoins were looking awesome in that moment. We will come back to this way, and so just imagine how much gain you can make then. That's unbelievable. And yeah, I'm sad for all these people that will lose their money. A lot of people will lose their money. But that's part of the game. That's trading. That's like every sport you like. It doesn't matter if it's soccer, tennis, or whatever. You have a winner and you have a loser. Unfortunately, that's the way. You have to understand what's going to happen, and if you know what's going to happen, use that knowledge and make the biggest gain you can. So that's what we are going to do here. Any questions about that here? About Wyckoff, or maybe, yeah, some other questions? Okay. I don't see any questions, so I would think everything is clear. But that's actually, yeah, I mean, that would be absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome if we can reach that here. And just imagine, I mean, that's also, people will start to hype the whole cryptocurrency market, saying, hey, they are doing thousands and millions in just few weeks, and that's what happened actually since last year as well. Yes, Philip, that's what Wyckoff says actually in his. I have to take a look. Yeah, you can see that. What he explains here, that's like a stair. We are here maybe, and we can go one stair, one step just downstairs before we leave the whole rate distribution, but that depends of, yeah, if we are shifting to a bear market and how long this bear market is. it can happen that we will have more of this redistribution phases. It's possible, but I don't think so. I really don't think so, because a lot of money will join the cryptocurrency market very soon, and I don't see that we can maintain such a redistribution phase for any longer than maybe another week, actually, before we go down to the accumulation where institutional investors, where whale starts to buy the deep, and they initiate then a bullish run to new all-time high. Well, I mean, invalidate the chart going past to 41K. That's not the big point. I mean, I have here 40, 45. If we are going actually even to 41.7, it could also happen that we go to 42. The thing behind what Wyckoff tried to explain with his failing run or his failing rally is what the people think. That would be really crap, because 42 would be, I mean, everyone will start to think that's going to be the new rally. If that fails, then wow, that a lot of people will cry then. Because that's a thing we created here, actually also something like a support. If you take a look here, we had 42.2. But on Wyckoff schematic, he says we should retest here. But it could happen, and that's what I say, that's just an illustration, but it could happen that Bitcoin goes up to 42, just generating the expectations of a new rally before the whales start to dump Bitcoin afterwards. That's where they make the biggest money. And that could happen. So for me, to invalidate the chart would mean we are crossing 42 and we are maybe, I mean, that's crap, because I'm going to miss a lot of opportunities, but we need to cross this 42.2 or 42.5, and then I would expect, okay, that's it. We are really starting a new rally. But the market is not looking like. Absolutely not. $48. Why? What's actually? Do you know why they say 48? What's the sense behind? I mean, many people are starting to take patterns from 2017, 2018, comparing that with this year, and saying that's going to happen or could happen. I'm not a big friend of taking. I did this in the past, but just for me as an orientation. But I'm not a big fan of take identical patterns. It's not possible to make identical patterns. Well, yeah, 48 is one support, but we have created a lot of different supports here. So, I mean, we have the big one here on 48. That's clear, but if we take a look, we have here the pattern at 40. That's a big one, right? We have here one touch, we have here one touch, here, and then here. Let me check. So the 48 one would be this one. Yeah, it's also a big one, but not a big difference to this one. So, I mean, if that happens, forget Wyckoff. Or just in that case, it wouldn't make any sense because that's out of Wyckoff's idea and schematic then. Yeah, based on 2017. That's the thing. We changed. I mean, we a lot of things changed since 2017, and so to take 2017, and I did this in the past few months ago, where I said, hey, okay, that what happened 2017, that should happen again, but that was much more trend thinking, much more an orientation. Right now, I'm not talking about an orientation. Right now, I'm talking about a prediction. You cannot, it's not possible to predict something based on patterns of the past when you know that the whole market actor structure of the market just changed in the last years. And I don't, and even also the view of the whales. A lot of different things is happening right now. So I was reading that Biden is had now on his agenda to regulate the crypto market. I know that many people will be pissed about that, about this announcement. I am happy about that because for me it was clear that the crypto market is not going to be an isolated market where everyone can get or become rich in a week. We will work with the laws and with the rules that the government will place. As they did with the stock market, they will do that here as well. And so for me, that's a good sign. If they talk about regulations, I say, yeah, after the regulation, we can actually say mass adoption is done. Because a lot of different cryptocurrency projects have to adapt to the laws and to the rules that the government is going to place. And as it works with companies in internationally as well. I mean, if you are a US company and you want to open a second one in Germany, you have to adapt your rules there. So, but in that case, I think and I hope we will get a common sense to rule out the cryptocurrency because it's absolutely global and it is something that is going to be our future. And hopefully then we will have a good framework where every project can work with that. A lot of different projects that will maybe disappear about that, but then I'm fine with that because they were risky anyway. So yeah, we will see what's going to happen in the next weeks. I don't want to read something like this here. Banks block payments to crypto exchanges. And that's thank you actually to a follower. He provided this article from the Telegraph, and that's something that's happening because the market is unregulated. If you have such articles and titles, you will miss the mass adoption. The mass adoption will come when they feel safe. Cryptocurrency is not safe. Every second or third day, I'm getting some news about any DeFi hack attacks or maybe scams behind, just putting some money away, and I don't know what. So all this stuff is not going to allow you to get all the people in this market. We need, unfortunately, and some other point of view, we need these regulations and we need these laws and we need these rules, and then this kind of titles will disappear. I'm convinced. So, okay. I don't see. Whoa. Okay, Häkkinen. Hey, welcome. Okay. It's in German. I will try to translate that. Herr Innsbruck kann leider nur kurz deinen Stream verfolgen. Lies mich gerade tief im Wyckoff an. Ich erwarte ebenfalls einen Ballon da, wie tief der auch immer sein mag. Wer weiß. Bin mir noch nicht sicher, ob wir 40k davor noch erreichen. Diese oder kommende werden wir schon einen Pump auf deutlich über. Yeah, well, he is actually asking exactly what we were talking about. If it's possible that we go and cross the 40k and maybe making a retest at 42. Yeah, it's possible. That's absolutely possible, and that's actually the goal is not to retest maybe the resistance exactly on the mark, on the line. The goal is to create an expectation at the market actors and then to dump. Okay, so the sentence always, if you want to be successful in the stock market, do what the opposite of the mass. And that's exactly what they are doing. That's exactly the big rule. Not more, not less. So yeah, it can happen. I'm not focused on 40k, just 40k because the 40k is at the moment my resistance. But we can go to 42. I don't think we will go to 48. That's another level. Okay, that's something where I say that's too much. And then even if we have the 42, it depends of your candle. If you see that the sell resistance or the sell pressure is very high, and you will see that in your volume bar in that moment, it tells you a lot. And that's what Wyckoff says in his book, for example. It's not only the pattern, it's not only every line of the chart, it's the reaction of the market actors, how they react. If you want to have their backs, their assets, you need to demotivate them. It's like war, okay? It's like war. If you want to win psychologically, sorry, you need to use this psycho effects to have a big impact to your enemy and to demotivate him, okay? And that's exactly the same game actually. So they will try to generate expectations, even also adding some media titles, and then they will dump it. And that's where Wyckoff say that's the failing rally. That's the failing when the expectations it's not meeting, and that's where the people just say, okay, fuck it. It's going to dump anyway. It's going to crash. I don't care anymore. Here's my fucking bag. I'm actually losing money. And that's where I say, yeah, the strongholders, they are not going to lose any money. But those people, they will start to be frustrated and so on they will lose money. And a lot of people, they will get this frustration very quick because they don't have the experience in that market. I don't think that that's what's happening this year is going to happen next year again or the next. I think even, of course, we will, like a sinus curve, we will have our downs, but on much higher level. We are not going to come back to the 19s or to the 20s anymore. That's, of course, my opinion, but I'm very sure about that. And oh, that's the perfect thing. If you take a look, for example, in Glassnode um, in their chart for the net unrealized profit loss at Bitcoin, and you always had this. That's the moment where the people are so scared and they just drop their assets, and that's the moment where the big whales are buying. That's the accumulation zone and phases, and that's going to happen again. Hi, Jeremy. Welcome. Yeah, Coty is making big progress, and the most big thing on Coty, and nobody. I mean, that's actually part of my job, and that's why I know that it's they have they are covering the regulation part of the bank. I mean, they are providing a complete package where the bank just need to count the money. And that's where I say Coty with Cardano also covering the whole e-commerce, um, e-commerce industry. That's going to be a huge, huge project, and where I'm looking forward because I was buying Coty. I'm going to buy even more Coty, Cardano, ANKR, Stellar Network, and so on and so forth. XRP is doing a beautiful progress as well. I mean, I'm not a friend of such expectations and predictions that one XRP token will be worth of $10,000 each, but it's enough if we can get 10, $15, maybe $20 per token in 1 year, 2 years. I think that's possible. And yeah, so, and if you take a look, for example, here you see exactly perfectly what's happening. That's the adjusted SOPR indicator. Okay, and this one is very common if you want to see if you are shifting to a bear market or if we are in a bullish market. And at the moment, and that's the interesting part, is they are preventing a bear market. Yet they are preventing. But if we start to dump hard, um, and as I mentioned on Twitter as well, bear markets, they every one of us are initiating a bear market in our brain, in our mind. A bear market just said you are not expecting positive market signs. You are not expecting increasing prices. That's the only thing. Bear market, it's not a mechanism that will be initiated, and it doesn't matter how much you pump, it's not going to go up. Okay? So bear market and bullish market are always in your mind. So if you can, with hype, with media, with influencers, start, that's also a manipulation, of course, but I mean, every ad in our TV is also a manipulation. Everything, every ad, everything that you see in the streets is a manipulation. We don't need to talk about that. That's part of our life, actually. But they will try, of course, to let you disappear your bearish thinking and to start a new rally. And at the moment, it's very interesting because I was really struggling because I thought, wow, if we don't start to pump a little bit, we will shift to a bear market. And every time they are preventing that, they are actually also preventing, in the redistribution phase, they are preventing any oversold or overbought situation at Bitcoin as well. That's also very interesting. Okay? But all this has a psycho effect. And that's actually the big part you have to understand. And every time if we go up and the people starts to say, Hallelujah, we are pumping, the new all-time highs are coming, then and only then you should ask yourself, are they right? Or is that a trap? And it's looking very controlled, everything. So for me, I'm very convinced that what's going to happen, we will have a big pump in the next few days, and we will have a retest, and then we will dump. We will dump very hard. We will come to a new bottom line, to a new support. We will see if it's going to be the another redistribution, or it's going to be actually the new bottom. Yeah, well, I mean, Red Viper, thoughts on Kotti. I sound like a Kotti Maxi even though I don't hold any. That's sad because Kotti it's a very for me it's one of the biggest undervalued projects at the moment with Seller Network. And I will start to detect now. I mean, I have some on my to-do list. Tell, for example, if you guys have some coins in your portfolio where you say that could be a very strong um, project as well, send me these coins. I will make an analysis, and that will be part of the next common streams where I will present these coins and where I see these coins in the next years based on what politicians have on their agenda and taking into account the transformation of our economy in the next 10 years. And because we need to have a good portfolio, a strong one. All these coins will give you everything necessary to become whatever. I mean, it depends of your invest, of course, and your volume, but you will have success with that. So we need that. We need such strong projects. I'm always talking about the same coins, I know, because at the moment I just have a view on Bitcoin, what's happening to Bitcoin, how is the Bitcoin dominance progressing. Actually, if I take the view here, I see it looks great. It's not going up anymore like it did here. So that's look absolutely good to me. I think it's going to fall even more. And also this gap here gives me a good sign that altcoins are the best investment. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is crap. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is not a good investment. I just say that if you want to make 3 times, 5 times, even 10 times or more of your initial investment, altcoin should be it. That's the only thing I want to say. So actually, I would close now this topic, the market situation. Maybe just one thing. I was taking a look to the future liquidations that we had, and that was very interesting for me because, of course, I think we will have, as soon as we dump again, we will have a big long liquidation as well. But the good thing is, take a look here. We did a pump and we just liquidated 500 million shorts. That's not really, that's not much, but at the same time 500 million longs. So that was balanced. They pumped, they started to buy a lot. Okay, that's the big sign. In here we had 235 million shorts, but 750 million long liquidations. That was, of course, the consequence of this dump here. And then we started a very interesting and balanced liquidations of shorts and longs, because we had a very high volatility. It started to increase. Of course, we had here then actually some long liquidations, but even here not that much like we did here. Okay, so you can see the expectations now are more balanced. That's what I said on Twitter. We have now two groups. I would say almost 50% are bullish and 50% are bearish. Maybe a little bit more bullish than bearish, because that's always the hope effect, but I would say it's really balanced. But nevertheless, as soon as we dump again, that will help the dump, because we will start to liquidate a lot of longs. At the same time, as soon as we reach the new, well, I wouldn't say bottom, but sorry, 2 hours. But as soon as we start to reach here, they will start to buy, and they will start to liquidate a lot of shorts, and that will also have an impact, because every time when a short future is getting liquidated, it's generating a buy operation. So it will increase, because of course the short liquidations will generate more buy pressure. Yeah, and they will start to place new longs, and then they will dump again, and so on and so forth. That's always the same. It's like a loop. Hi Sifu, how are you doing? Crypto guy in Trinidad. Only holding 5 coins currently. Matic, very good. One, very good. That, me too, also very good. And HBAR, also very good. And so, well, what should I say? You did everything fine. All this project, even I don't know every single data of these coins, but I read about these coins in the past when I started to analyze coins to buy for my portfolio. All of these coins were on the list. So I can say, well done, crypto guy in Trinidad. That's really good. And that's what I going to make in the future, is to start and to be transparent based on my portfolio, to show you how I'm trying to recognize and to detect strong projects. Take a look to the white papers, taking a look to their roadmaps, and taking a look to their content. Okay, so when I did my analysis for Coti, I was just, what the fuck? That's going to be huge. And I mean, it's Coty 20 cent right now. If we are going to dump really to 25, 24, even we have our retest and climate sal at 19.5, I would think that Coty will be available for 15 cent, maybe a little bit less. That's a gift. Seller network. That that's going to be a gift. I mean, seller network, a lot of money is there, and if they start to sell, that could dump again to 20 cent, to 2 cent. Cardano, $1 or a little bit more, but I think that's possible. $1. XRP, 70 cents, maybe 60. Okay, and all these projects are going to make a big rally afterwards, really big. So to spend there your money, it's really a gift. That's the only thing I can say. And I will in the future. I mean, at the moment I don't have a lot of time, but I will start to show you some projects and why I think in relation to what's going to happen in the next 10 years, why I think these projects are strong and should be part of a portfolio. I mean, I'm not advising, that's just entertainment, all the thing that I'm doing here, but um, yeah, I'm even I don't believe that coins like Doggy can be the currency, the global currency in the future, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I'm not convinced. So I'm very straight. When I do everything when I'm convinced, but when I'm not convinced, I'm not going to analyze that. I'm not going to show you that. We have a lot of other nice traders on Twitter with own streams that show you such kind of coins. I have a very economy based view on everything. Less marketing, more facts. That's actually my principle. Okay? So, yeah. You're welcome, crypto guy in Trinidad. Let me check. If nobody has a question now, I would go over to the questions. So first of all, for example, the question of crypto guy in Trinidad, where he asked me about the future liquidations, if these liquidations just take place every day, or yeah, some days, or how does that work? I will show you a website where you can see all these different. Unfortunately, it's not complete because I have noticed that Binance, for example, you can see that here. Wait, Binance future expiring dates. I don't know if we can see that. Binance future contracts expiring. God. And actually, that was very interesting. Binance, I remember that, um, just published this article because a lot of people were very angry because we started to have big dumps in March because of the liquidations. And future contracts have a limited lifespan. Okay, some of them. And they will expire based on their respective calendar cycle. For instance, our BTC quarterly 0625 will expire on the stipulated date mentioned on its contract specification, June 25th. And Binance is the biggest platform for future contracts after FTX, maybe? I'm not sure, but absolutely one of the biggest ones. So would I start a rally when I know that a big sell pressure is coming to me? Only if I know I have more short futures than long futures. That would make sense. But at the moment, we have more longs than shorts. So I wouldn't expect a rally up. I would more expect a dump down. But yeah, so and the other side where you can check this kind of informations is, and this the only site I know that is providing this kind of information is contract market cap. I try, I don't know if I can zoom here. I'm really a noob with with streaming. No, I can't. No. Oh. Oh yes, wait. Ah. Can you see that? Contractmarketcap.com. And actually this website is providing a lot of information related to the future contract market. So, and one thing that's very interesting for me, you have here leveraged ETF. By the way, ETF, many different ETF providers are right now in Europe buying some or will buy even more Bitcoins and Ethereum and so on and so forth. But one thing, for example, that's also very interesting is I don't know if you remember, I tweeted about that when we started to dump. We had here almost 70 billion, even 80 billion. Now we just have 46, 47 billion, 24 volume and derivatives. And I mean, it's bigger than the spot volume, just 39 billion or 38 billion, but it's still a good sign to see that the people started to react that actually future trading could be at the moment be very risky. And oh, and so we will see, but I hope that maintains in that level and it's not going higher. If I go here, you have here now a whole list of all derivatives actually. We have here the 25. I don't know why it's showing here it's not expiring. Of course it's expiring. Huh. That looks ugly. I don't know. So we will start with June 4th. Then we will have June 11th. And then the last one is going to be in June 25th. And then I have seen here some like this one, for example, but it looks that's one of the small one, it seems, from Binance, because it just have a volume of 67 million. That's not really big. But the biggest one are actually here. And I'm not sure if everything is here because I'm missing I'm Binance, for example. It says here much. Yeah, I'm really missing the big one, because the big one is Binance Futures with 21 billion. And we have an open interest of 1.37 billion. So, and we have some other providers that are not listed here, like FTX, for example. In some new they are coming, but I don't think they have some products that are going to expire now in June. But well, I mean, you can see that here, nevertheless, those guys are counting the days. They know June 4th, that's actually Friday. So I will expect that some of them will start to look for the best exit situation. So they will start to liquidate their contracts as soon as possible before they get liquidated by the provider itself. Philip is asking if we don't retest 40K and just keep consolidating in this range for a while, would you still assume we are in a red distribution? No, I wouldn't. Um, I mean, it depends, of course, of different, for example, the volume profile. But based on Wyckoff schematic, if we, I mean, if we are talking about redistribution, that's Wyckoff schematic only. And then I would say no, no. Then maybe we are accumulating, but not on that way that Wyckoff had in mind. That's my opinion. So back to the futures. This website is showing you really interesting information and very useful. But as you can see here, and we can see what happens in March 25th, I think it was. September 10, December 10. You can take a look. Go to 1 day. Yeah, and that's what I say, that's the big problem. When people start to get, before they get liquidated, they start actually to get the best exit point. Because if they, for example, just placed here a long one because they said, hey, cool, we are making a huge rally, and then it dumped, and he is just adding more money to maintain his contract alive, and I said, come on, okay, now it's going up, I just want to close my contract without any lose. And they see then such a candle, they know exactly, okay, fuck, I need to go out as soon as possible. And then a chain started because people are starting to close their contracts even before they get liquidated. But 24th, 25th were the actually liquidated days of Binance. And yeah, we did here 83, 87,000. We had here a volume of 83, 87,000 actually token. That's my volume indicator at TradingView. And before we had 50, 60, 40. So you can imagine how big the sell pressure was when Binance started to liquidate their future contracts. So that's something we need to have in mind. So 25th June 24. Huh. I mean, that's just an illustration, but it's funny because that that would be something where I say, yeah, it could fit. So we will start here. The people will start to close their contracts. Well, we had here a lot of longs, of course. It depends if those guys are going to generate with this kind of fade rally situations enough longs to start here and yeah, to let liquidate all these people that would, of course, then as consequence reach maybe a new bottom, or in my case I just said the new bottom would be actually the all-time high in 2017. Yeah, so I hope that's clear where you can find the information now. So contractmarketcap.com, and there you can take a look to the different contracts and you see the expiration date as well. I don't know why FTX is not appearing here. I don't know. Yeah, FTX is here, but it's, I don't know, FTX exchange is showing for December, for example, but not for June. Well, yeah, we have here one. FTX BTC 0625. Huobi as well. So, but that's a good orientation to see that's always the same. 11th, 25th, and before the June 4th. So next Friday, I would expect a big sell pressure. We will see that. But I would expect that could be very helpful to give us another sign that we are on the right way, thinking that next Friday, next weekend could be a big dump happen. Maybe before, but so back to the 2 hours view. So, and then the second thing I wanted to show you, because another Twitter follower just asked me again, is, let me go to my Twitter. That's, wow. Thank you very much for sharing the streaming. So let us see where is. No, that was later. Yeah, here. Munir, I just tweeted the whale alert about the 75700 BNB. Transfer from unknown wallet to Binance. I mean, we need to check if that's maybe some internal operation, but as I showed you, and if we go here, we can see we had a lot of different transactions from unknown wallet. An unknown wallet is mainly your private personal wallet, your hot wallet where you have your assets. And then if you want to sell them, you need actually an exchange. Binance, Huobi, Coinbase, whatever. Of course, you can make some transactions with MetaMask. I don't know where you can show this kind of information actually, because it could be also very interesting. That's something that while alerts are missing. But nevertheless, when I see people are starting, and I mean that's not you, that's not me. I don't have 10 million in XLM, or I don't own 15,000 Ethereum, almost 9 million EOS, or 25 million XRP. So when I see that information and I see that these guys are transferring their assets from private wallet to a public wallet to an exchange, that means they want to drop these assets. They are prepared to drop these assets. Okay? It doesn't mean they are going to do that. Maybe they are expecting something. If it's not happening, they can transfer all these assets back to their personal wallets. Happened several times in the past. It can happen, but it's unusual because you have to pay some fees for that. Nobody is going to pay all these fees. For example, if you're sending 15,000 Ethereum, good luck, buddy. Do that several times and you will cry like a baby. So, yeah, that's for me then. My question, is that an internal operations? Because 15,000 Ethereum, to Binance, a lot of transactions related to Binance, even this 75,000 BNB. We need to check then, but that would be a sign something is going to happen. And that's not bullish, of course. That's much more bearish. At the moment, Bitcoin looks like what it did in the last days as well. I mean, it can happen that we go down, but I'm not expecting that. I'm really expecting that we bounce here and we will start to go up. We are not going to dump or to fall hitting 35k anymore. And if you take a look to the candles, I try to make that as bigger as I can. You know what's happening here. Okay? They don't want it. And that's when I say it's controlled. That looks so amazing because they don't want that this candle is going down. They absorbed everything there if it's necessary. They will drop it. Look that here. I mean, look that candles. And so what's happening then? We are moving a little bit much more than a sideways run. And that's what I predicted, but not because, yeah, I don't know, because I'm controlling that, just because Wyckoff just predicted that 100 years ago. And that's where I think we will, after that here, maybe tonight, I don't know, but I believe we will go up and start to pump, start to generate hope, start to generate bullish thinking at the people before we fail here and then dump. That's, in my opinion, what's going to happen. We will see. Well, if you don't have any questions, I would say we are done for today. It took a little bit longer than expected. I just said 1 hour, now it's 1:40, so that's absolutely fine for me. So if you have any questions now, that would be the best opportunity to drop the line in the comment bar, or I'm going to close the session for today and we will see us. Oh yeah, I changed the schedule. Thursday. Thursday would be the next stream. I will think about what other topic I can bring to the stream, but yeah, just let me know If you have something that you want to know, and that's useful for me as well, because that's partly your feedback where I see where maybe your gaps are, and my goal is that I mean we have a community now, and it would be, yeah, awesome if we can talk each other and just change some opinions and charts and so on and so forth. Um, that's what where I think that's going to be the absolutely community spirit. Jeremy, thank you very much. I appreciate your feedback. Thank you very much. I know you that you are really following me since, I don't know, long time now. A lot of you are doing that, and that's for me the best feedback you can give me, because I know my format is maybe not perfect. I know that other guys are using, I don't know, different tools and doing all this much better. And that's why I say I'm trying to make the things very easy and try to show you um, how all this works with, yeah, if possible, with easy understanding illustrations. It's not the best one, I know, but it's full with information and so on and so forth. But yeah, so where I say, please just drop me a line if something is unclear. Okay? Thank you very much, guys. Really, thank you for every second that you are watching this stream, and I'm looking forward for our stream on next Thursday. If you have anything in mind, if you want to, if you have any questions, if you have any coin that could be very interesting for the whole community, I'm not shilling coins actually just because I'm owning this coin. I'm If I'm shilling, I'm just shilling a coin because I'm convinced this coin is going to give you a lot of money back. Okay? So, well, then I would say thank you very much. Have a nice day, and let us see what's going to happen till next Thursday. Oh, that sounds good, Jeremy. Then maybe well, with a beer or something, or Coke and popcorn. We will see. So, thank you very much for watching. Have a nice time. And as usual, don't let you guide by fear. You have to understand what's happening. Don't feel any fear. Okay? So, see you next Thursday, guys. Bye bye.